Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Cooper with CryptoMom2 and the Blockchain Legal Institute, and I would like to welcome you to this episode. Remember, like and subscribe because there are many really interesting conversations that are coming down the pike, and I want to make sure that you are in the know for everything that's happening within our evolving space. So for those that are new to CryptoMom2, I'll share a little bit about background about me before I introduce our guest today, and I'm really excited about who's going to be chatting with us because there's an upcoming event that I think everyone's going to want to check out and see if they can attend because there's a lot of knowledge. And in our space, the blockchain space, things are changing so fast. It's really important to always continue with your education, whether it's professional education or consumer education. We're all part of this platform and a space, and we all need to know what's going on. So my background is that I'm a lawyer. I'm doing definitely non-traditional law because I'm in the education space. However, I do consult as well. And I'm also an author. I'm the author of the Bitcoin Cinderella series, and that's a family book. So that way you can learn more about blockchain terminology and a fun fairy tale from Cinderella to Snow White and so many other stories that are about to be released. So definitely check that out, and there'll be links below. I'm also the CEO of the Blockchain Legal Institute, and I started that institute because I realized that even though I've been learning for about 6 years, and that's really not a lot of time for some people that have been in it a lot longer than myself, it's a decentralized space. And so there are resources, really great resources all over the space and in a lot of different topics, from metaverse to DAOs to cryptocurrency to Bitcoin to Ethereum to blockchain uses. And so for those that are trying to just step into this space now and learn, it was very difficult. And so the Blockchain Legal Institute really is a centralized library for these decentralized resources. The focus is not just law, there's content there too, but everything that happens in our life is impacted by law. So the focus is on what's going on policy-wise, case-wise, that type of thing. So it's very user-friendly, so definitely check it out. But today we're going to be talking about, finances, fintech, and a whole host of other topics. I've met Jeff on LinkedIn and, at different conferences that we've been to, and he is definitely a thought leader in this area. And I asked him to come on because it's important, professionally as we're growing, that we learn about who's in the space that we can actually get valuable information from. So Jeff, welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah. So explain a little bit more to those that are listening on the audio side. Definitely hop over to the video side because we're going to be sharing the website and you want to kind of check it out. And also for those that are listening, if you're without a paper and pen, don't worry. I'm going to be giving all of Jeff's contact information. So if you have questions, you can reach out directly to him. So why don't you share a little bit more about your background, your title, the company, and how did you get into this space? Because everyone's life journey is a little bit different in terms of how we kind of learned about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and everything else in this area.
Yeah, sure. So I started my career in accounting consulting about the first 5 years, where I did a lot of control testing, audit work. A lot of it's around Sarbanes-Oxley. I then used that to transition into working at a bank. It was always my dream to work in a bank in finance. And that's where I spent about the next 12 years of my career in product control. So I was doing accounting for different banks such as Notre, Bank of America, working with complex products like bonds, derivatives, structured products. And then at Bank of America, that was my last stint at the banks. I got tired of the banks and I wanted to get into something different. I at first wanted to get into fintech, and then a job within fintech came to me, and it was at BlockFi to help build out the product control space at BlockFi. So that was my introduction into crypto. I saw a very crazy 2 years while at BlockFi, a roller coaster up and all the way down. And I got out, I would say, just in time, where Cryptio came to me with a job offer. And I found this super interesting. And Cryptio is a SaaS company that focuses on accounting solutions for crypto companies. So I thought my experience from working at the banks, from accounting control into my introduction into crypto was very relevant. And I no longer was going to be the controller at the companies, but helping support different clients that crypto had. So I stepped over to the other side where now I'm the guy with the accounting knowledge, the crypto accounting knowledge that's helping our crypto clients and just in general, the crypto accounting community understand the challenges, understand some of the solutions that are out there, because there are a lot of challenges. There aren't a lot of guidelines. There aren't a lot of regulations that are clear and concise. And that comes down all the way down to accounting, where we're still fighting to get proper accounting rules. So that's a lot of what we're doing at Cryptio, and trying to make the best solution for crypto companies, or really any company handling crypto in doing their accounting, tax, and financial reporting. So I'll show you a little bit of what Cryptio is, and I'm going to share my screen here.
Yeah, please do. So I really appreciate you talking about the accounting side. I know that it's BLI says Blockchain Legal Institute, but really there's, like you said, there are laws and rules that impact on the accounting side. We think about the IRS here in the United States, but again, this is very important that you understand that if you are, and again, nothing in this show is investment advice, legal advice, or financial advice. But if you are buying Bitcoin, if you're buying crypto, if you're buying any digital assets, there are certain reporting requirements, and those that are within the companies need to understand, how do you document that, and then how do you share that back so that way you're in compliance. And that again is the legal side of it. So it's nice to have a wallet, but then you have income from that wallet, and you have to report that income, and you have to record it. So what you're doing, audit ready back office, to me is so needed, because of the fact that it's sort of like, when you integrate QuickBooks into a company, you understand that you have to have certain documents. Well, cryptocurrency, digital assets, you have to think, how do you do this now? So go ahead and share more.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you'd be surprised about is how many crypto companies start up. Their only focus is around growth and the product, and not about doing their financial reporting.
Right.
So one thing we stress is becoming audit ready. A lot of companies will say, well, we're not being audited yet, so it doesn't even matter. But you always need to take into consideration from day one what your accounting is going to be, because when the day comes that you do get audited, you're going to need to have all your ducks in order. So
it's a lot
you need
easier
to be
to
ready
set it
now.
up in advance than in arrears.
Absolutely. And a solution like this scales with the business. So it's a minimal cost up front. As you have more transactions, more complex transactions, the costs increase, but it's a minimal cost just to make sure your company has a sound structure in place sooner than later. So Cryptio we have about 350, closer to 400 clients now. We support some of the major crypto native companies like Consensus, OneInch, Uniswap Foundation. We've also helped a lot of these layer 1 and layer 2 companies index their chains. So that's where crypto accounting gets very complex, is that all the accounting, especially for crypto native companies, lives on the blockchain. Now, how do you get that data? You could look at the data on a scanner like Etherscan. However, the scanners were never actually meant to do accounting. You could confirm transactions, you could see that they happened, but there's a lot of complexities that happen on the blockchain, internal transfers, Etherscan's just not capturing.
I'm going to interrupt you for a quick second. So for those that don't know what Etherscan is, why don't you explain a little bit more about that? I have on Blockchain Legal Institute, there's a whole list of links that are as a separate area. Etherscan happens to be on there, but explain to them, for those that might not know why this is important, what that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of layer 1, layer 2 foundations, layer 1 like Etherscan, where a lot of different companies are building on. Etherscan is, I consider it like the engine or the oil behind how everything works. A lot of transactions pass through Etherscan. A lot of things are built on Etherscan. So it's a key foundation to a lot of what goes on. But it's not just Ethereum. It's all the other blockchains that fit the ecosystem.
Keep going.
So
I'm going to interrupt you as we're trying to define things for people. So I appreciate your patience.
no, absolutely. No, please keep interrupting. So what we've done is at first we tried to use Etherscan. It didn't work. So we went back and we said the only way to do this is to index the data ourselves and get all of our data in-house. So we've been doing this over the past 5 to 6 years, where we index all the different blockchains. And what indexing means is that you have a wallet, and the wallet lives within the blockchain, but it lives in there in different blocks. So what indexing does is it parses each different block into all the activity and puts it into legible and understandable data from an accounting perspective. And DeFi in particular could get very complex. There could be a lot of different moving pieces. So indexing that data could take anywhere from 1 to 6 months, depending on how complex the blockchain is. But it's important that you index it the right way, because if you don't, you're not getting 100% of the data. And in accounting, if you have 98% of the data, it's not good enough. Ultimately, when you get audited, it's going to be a massive issue in missing balances and ultimately misrepresenting what your financial reporting should be. Because if you have missing balances, you're not accurately reporting your financial reporting. And then what we do is we pull in all the data.
Would you say that this information, sorry to interrupt again, would you say that this is important for small companies? I see a lot of big names here, but at what level company should they be thinking about using a service like yours?
Any level. I think from startup where you have minimal transactions, the cost is minimal per year, up until enterprise grade level. That's what we really specialize in, because what we specialize in is getting companies through audits and having the most robust, comprehensive UI or UX where companies could scale with us. And we have companies where we support 50 million transactions per year and do it with ease. So you could grow with crypto, but I think the key thing is to not wait until you get to be big enough where you say, we have a problem. It's to implement a solution and scale with that solution.
So I see,
yeah.
for those that are on the audio side, what we're looking at right now is what you're calling a crypto accounting stack. So complete with internal control. So I see the data layer, I see the accounting reporting layer, and I see the other column there, of which I see QuickBooks in. So, that's interesting that everything can flow right into some of the things that we might be thinking about as a consumer. Do you want to explain what we're seeing?
Yeah. So once we get the data layer, and that's indexing the blockchains, it's consolidating all the CeFi activity into one location. It's then creating rules and your accounting and reporting layer. And that all starts with internal controls, which I could show you in more detail on the actual application itself, but it's verifying that all the data is there. It's doing reconciliations from crypto back to the blockchain, saying we have 100% of the data. It's creating different rules so you could create different reporting. So you could create your asset roll forward, so you could create your transaction history reports. And when you do all this and you get everything set up within crypto, we then integrate into QuickBooks, like you're mentioning, NetSuite, Xero. We integrate into your ERP, so we could help automate your month-end reporting and tax needs. So a lot of this manual entry, a lot of the manual work. So I came from a whole world of just manual work where you have to put together support, where you have to plug in the journal entries, where you have to plug in the different numbers. There's constantly errors with that. There's constantly fat fingering issues. You put 2 zeros by accident, and then finding what you did wrong could take even longer. It could take, figuring out what journal.
Yeah, no, it takes a long time, especially if you were really trying to balance everything. What I like about this is on this screen, it really outlines everything. I guess the question that popped into my mind while you were talking is, for people that might not understand, they might have a question about privacy. How, if they have a transaction on Coinbase, I see that. So and people are familiar with that, even though there are many other exchanges that you have over here. How is their privacy protected? And so I know that it is, but for those that are listening who might not understand this, you want to explain a little bit more?
Sure. So a lot of it starts with SOC reporting. Any SaaS company needs to have SOC reporting, and if they don't, it's difficult to trust them. And what SOC reporting does is it's an audit of the SaaS software to verify that they have all the checks and controls in place as a software should be to make sure that their end user is safe and looked after. And that's where we've been working on our SOC report and making it extremely detailed for years now. And that's where it all starts. But each user has their own instance, which is only accessible to them. A user only gets access through Cryptio granting them access. So no other user from outside of their organization or outside of the individual granting access can access this information.
So why don't you go ahead and show the platform? Because I know that
Sure.
you've been talking overall. So what do we see here? I see a list of transactions on the top.
We'll start with the imports. Actually, it all starts with importing. So when you start with Cryptio, you want to understand, where does all my crypto live? Does it live in does it live in a custodian? Does it live on chain, or is it on the exchanges? Or is there an internal database that your company is using to track the crypto? So you start with importing any of the balances through Cryptio or any of the crypto wallets. Once you import them, it pulls in all the transactions live to date or history to date. So you can see everything going on from a very granular level. You have the date of the transaction, the time of the transaction, where it's coming from, where it's going to, the incoming amount in the native currency, the outgoing amount in the native currency, as well as as long as fair market value of the currency. And we support any currency in the world. And what we're doing is, through our pricing provider, Kaiko, is we're taking this timestamp and we're applying a price to that. And that's important because you need to track three things when tracking crypto. You need to track your cost,
Right.
And that's what price and what fair value you acquired the asset at. You need to track your fair value of that asset. So investment companies need to track their books at fair value. Right now, operating companies need to track them at cost. And then you also have to track your impaired value or your book value. So you need to track three different aspects of your crypto through the life of it. And you could determine if you want to track that based on FIFO, LIFO, WAC, and those are all inventory management methods.
So I have a question for you. So let's say that there's, and I'm thinking about just a new company that says, okay, I really need this, but I've been working within this space for a while and I haven't done this. How do you backtrack to help them understand what their history is, so that way they can come forward? Or do you only start from the day one that they hire you and start using this program? So for those that think, okay, well, I'm too late to the game for the past, I can only do it forward, what would you tell them?
That's a good question. And I would say a lot of companies come to us and say they haven't done financial reporting for 2 years.
Exactly
and
right.
in 6 months they have. That's correct. Yeah, it's actually shocking. Or that they've done it and they know just how incorrect it likely is. So with Cryptio, if you plug in a wallet or your exchange, you get the entire history of what happened.
And
Or
I want to just share for those that don't know, that's because it's a blockchain. So you could go, you can go back and you can see what the history is. So so thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, but you also have the ability to pick a point in time where you want to import assets. Let's say you were on another software and you want to switch over. You could pick, I want to import transactions as of 8/23/2023. So you could pick a point in time as well. But what I think we do best is going back and doing years of financial reporting within seconds. So once you import these, what you want to do is you want to identify where it's coming to and where it's coming from and where it's going to. And the reason that's important too is wallet management. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of transactions. It helps the companies understand what is going on at a glance from looking at these transactions, which start at a wallet level or start at a CFI um, exchange, but it's to help you understand what's going on. And that's where we also add in labels. You can see here that we've identified these as internal transfers, these as staking rewards. What crypto also helps you do is identify what kind of activity is happening in your company, and how can I easily look at this from a glance, where if I want to look at all my staking rewards that happened in the last month, you could easily run a report and filter the data and look at just your staking rewards. So it's very helpful from an FP&A perspective. And FP&A just is financial planning and analysis, and all the way to your treasury management. So once you pull in everything, you could see here that you're tracking all your different treasury, all your different fair values of the treasury, all the different activity from your DeFi, identifying top wallets that you're using, the value of those top wallets, how many assets are in there. It helps you identify unidentified counterparties, different tax positions. So there's a lot that crypto could do on top of financial reporting that helps out companies.
No, I'm appreciative of this because I know sometimes, just like in, if you have, I'm thinking myself from a US dollar perspective, even though I do have crypto wallets, but, if you have two banks, I have two credit unions, and if I want to transfer from one credit union to the other, that's an internal transfer. It's my money. I'm just transferring it from one to another. So, having these labels helps you when in a glance to know, okay, that's maybe not, like you said, a staking income. That's just something that was being transferred. Again, from an accounting perspective, I'm really oversimplifying this, but as a consumer, I can appreciate what you're saying.
Like you're saying, though, that's super important, because what you need to identify is if any transaction is a taxable event.
Exactly.
If it's a taxable event, that means you need to realize your gains and losses. So if it's an internal transfer, which we help you automate, identifying internal transfers, you just transfer the cost basis. There is no gain or loss that you need to be reporting on that. And that could make a big impact on your financial reporting or taxes at the end of the year. So identifying each transaction that's happening and clearly identifying how you should treat those in your financial reporting is very important.
It is very important. I know that we talked offline, and you had mentioned that there's an upcoming conference. And I want to mention for everyone who's listening that depending upon when you hear this conversation, because everything lives on my feed almost forever, you might hear about the date of this conference, but again, there will be other conferences, so it will be important for you to visit, the various links that we have to see what is current. What's the conference that's coming up in September, and what's the focus on that, and what do you who should go?
Yeah, the conference is the Crypto Finance Forum. It is focused on everything from finance and accounting in crypto. Basically the world I live in and the world that all of our clients live in. So we're looking to gather CFOs, CAOs, auditors, controllers, and just accountants in general. We're looking to attract those in the crypto industry or those that are crypto interested, getting into crypto and hearing what kind of conversations are happening behind the doors. We're having people from the FASB. We're having all big four partners. We're having the CFOs of different companies like Marathon. And we're having a really great lineup where we're going to have in-depth conversations, have a great chance for networking. It's just a one-day event. So you get in, get everything done, get your networking in, and talk to all like-minded people. It's in the heart of New York City. It's on Pier 60 in New York City. And it's on September 19th. So we're looking for it to be a really, really big and interesting event, because I think one thing we've identified when going to crypto conferences, and one thing to note, this is a day before mainnet, is that mainnet has all different players in the industry. They have they have DeFi, they have accounting, they have developers, they have tech people. There's all different aspects. And I'm always trying to find a conversation with someone in the accounting or finance realm within crypto. So what this is going to do is it's going to bring everyone together with like-minded people, people working on the same challenges day in and day out, and just sharing their experiences.
Yeah, I think it's important for the financial individuals who are supporting companies that are, I'm not saying that you're not creative, but for those that are creating new blockchain businesses, you need to have a lawyer, you need to have an accountant, you need to have those who can support the infrastructure of your business while you're
Yep.
doing the vision of the business. And yeah, I've definitely, I've looked at your list, and it's really impressive. I know that for any of those individuals who are listening, if you'd like to hop on CryptoMom2, I'd love to interview you, because I think you're all, again, leading the way for creating a better space for the blockchain community and for those that are using the blockchain products. So I appreciate the fact that you've created this. Any last minute thoughts before we sign off?
Um, Not that I could think of. It's just to the community out there, it's not to ignore your accounting. It's to take it super seriously. I think oftentimes the accounting and the controls that go in place into companies is a second thought. Or people just become too busy. So it's to really understand the accounting, or to talk to those that do really understand it, and stress the importance within your companies just to get it done and get it done correctly.
Yep, I agree with you. So for everyone who's been listening, all of Jess's contacts will be in the blog below. The information about the event, the Crypto Finance Forum, will also be there. I definitely encourage everyone to check it out. And also, if you're listening to this after the event, definitely, visit back again, because there'll be other future events. And I know you and I were talking about the fact that you have continuing education that people can participate in, similar to what we're doing on Blockchain Legal Institute. So it's definitely is to help our community grow and be in the know, because this space is changing very fast, very, very fast. So
That's right. Yeah, we hold monthly webinars. We're constantly updating our blogs, so you can check out cryptio.co to see what we're talking about every day, what the challenges are in the industry, and how we're overcoming those challenges.
yeah, for sure. So everyone who's been listening, definitely like and subscribe. And as I say on all my shows, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're very interconnected. We're all part of one world. And now more than ever, because of where we are online. So everyone, thank you so much. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.